super awesome video sponsor is PlayVital. Are you looking for the ultimate controller customization? Then look no further. The PlayVital Mono Eye Monster silicone cover will not only protect your Xbox Series controller, it'll also make it even more fun. Available in multiple colorways, including a silicone cover, joystick caps, and stickers to completely customize your controller. It doesn't end there either. From aim assist rings, thumbstick grips, protective cases, silicone grips, and skins for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and more. PlayVital's surely got something that will not only make you stand out, but protect your devices at the same time. For more information, check out these awesome products in the link in the description.
And we're live!
What's
Hello.
Welcome to the live stream.
Yes, this is 128KB News. Hello, you beautiful people. We are going to catch up on the world of gaming this week in this weird live news gaming video.
That we said was weekly and it's not been weekly.
So in true 128KB fashion, we started something new. We told everyone this is what we're going to do every week, and then we
Stopped it, yeah.
Well, there was the Nintendo event, first of all.
That's true. We were, chilling with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Getting big bags of cash, as everyone seems to believe.
Shilling. Massive shills.
Yeah, that's it.
And then, of course, there was last Friday where... I don't know what happened. Was it like a holiday? It's Easter, wasn't it?
Easter.
It was Easter here, so we didn't do anything.
That's correct.
We played games instead.
Yes.
But how is everyone? I hope everyone in chat is okay. Make sure you make yourself visible, because I do like to interact with you.
Don't make yourself visible, because that means you're then in the room with us.
That would be weird, wouldn't
and
it?
it'd be a bit creepy if there was just like loads of people stood next to the camera.
I'd love that. No, I want them all to come here.
Then we won't have to live, because they'll just be here.
Just come here. We can hang out,
That's
we can
great.
chat, and then play games
like
afterwards.
a cult.
Like a cult.
I like that. That's good.
Do you think we could have like a paid membership like a cult?
Yeah.
And then
that's it.
we
Yeah.
could be like leaders of a cult and
That's
start
it.
like a cult.
Instead of 128KB, it would be 128 cult.
Religion.
Yes.
Wow, amazing.
I like it.
Yeah, and we all worship the Nintendo gods.
Yes. Mario.
We all worship Mario. Bowser.
Princess Peach.
There's some beautiful people in chat already. I like it.
I should probably look.
Yeah, you should. You should come. You got to join in with this. Andrew, Dan,
Hello.
KDK7, Cornelius, Captain Chats, Joshua
Hi.
Smallwood,
Hi.
Joshua as well,
Hi.
Paul,
Hi.
Joshua again,
Hi.
Darren Nye, and
Hi.
Paul.
Hi.
We love you all for being here so early. What's wrong with having us in the room? Are you scared of us?
Yes.
Actually,
I have
yes.
crippling social anxiety.
Totally scared. What I liked is that Andrew straight away, I put, say hi if you're early, and he replied, hi if you're early.
I know. I was going to, because AJ was doing a Mark Cerny pisser before the show, and I was going to comment that, saying AJ's currently taking a PSSR.
Someone called YouTuber says, I haven't been part of a cult for years. Let's do it. So I think it's a go for the 128KV cult. Let's do this.
I like this. It's good.
Maybe that's how we celebrate breaking 100,000 subscribers. It's happening.
It's close, isn't it?
It happened all of a sudden.
Very
and
suddenly.
It's very exciting.
We're at 94,000.
We don't know how to best celebrate. So actually, if you're here early, I'd love for your ideas on what we should do to celebrate like a monumental years in the making milestone.
We should hit up Nintendo. Free Switch 2s for everyone.
For all channel members.
Can you imagine that? I'd love to be able to do that.
You need new jeans.
I do, yeah. They're ripped. And apparently there's like green camo or something underneath them.
Lee
and
Harris.
that's even ripped as well.
Lee Harris says you need new jeans, which maybe that's how we celebrate 100,000.
Yay! Andy gets to buy some new jeans.
And Captain Chats has joined the cult. Welcome
like
to
that.
the memberships, Captain Chats.
Welcome. That's amazing.
That's custard wrestling is an idea from Neil on how we celebrate 100,000.
Custard wrestling? Us or someone else? And
Is
we
that
watch?
like bikini things? I don't know.
Yes.
Games are expensive
like
these
that.
days. Ace Bird. John, yes, they are.
They are
It does
indeed.
suck, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
We do want to talk a little bit about that today, because we've had some confirmation from Nintendo about certain game prices and stuff. We did cover it in a podcast that's coming out next week.
Yes.
That we've just recorded, actually.
Yes.
So that's me ruining time travel forever for you.
Yes.
We record the podcast on a Friday and they go out on a Tuesday.
They do, yes. And obviously when we're live streaming is the exact time when an eyelash decides it's going to go directly into my eye.
Eyelash pain. Keep the chats coming in. I want to catch up on your questions. If you've got any Nintendo related questions as well, endeavour to reply to them live as well, so we can, help you there. But we've answered a few of them in some videos we've just recorded.
Yes, which will be next week or the week after, whenever.
Robbie Sowles, good morning, kids. Good morning, everyone. For us, it's just the afternoon. If you're in the States, it's just the morning. If you're somewhere else, then it's probably something else.
Yes,
so
indeed.
That's how time works, everybody.
It does, yeah. Right now it's 2:00.
On the pricing front, I want to touch on something that's slightly non-Nintendo-like, which might alienate everyone straight away, and that's Land of the PlayStations.
Oh, in this week's news.
This week's news.
Yes. We are getting on to Nintendo, by the way, everyone.
We will. I want to touch on some of the other big stories as well.
Just gaming news.
Gaming news in general, because this PlayStation story in particular is important for the landscape of Nintendo and everyone worrying about the price of Nintendo it being too expensive. I just want to say it is things are expensive now, and it sucks.
Yeah, everything's expensive.
I don't want to be disingenuous on like how hard it is for people, because it sucks. It sucks for us as well. I want to buy all the games, I can't afford to buy all the games. It's rubbish.
Yeah.
But that's just where we're at. But PlayStation, very quick to jump on the bandwagon, and nobody's talking about it, which is really shocking me. Outside of the US, in Europe and in Middle East, they've increased the price of the baseline consoles.
Yes.
In particular, the one that's really kind of galling is the PS5 Digital, which is technically PS5 Slim, because they don't sell the old version anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, PS5 Digital only has gone up from $390 to £430. It's a 10% increase.
Yeah.
Like overnight, didn't tell anyone. At the same time, really nice of Sony.
They dropped the price of the disc drive.
They dropped the price of the disc drive.
But it still works out more expensive to buy that than the disc drive edition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so the disc drive has gone down to £70, down from £100. So before, it would have cost you £490 for both of them if you were going to buy them both separately.
Yeah.
And now it's going to cost you £500.
Oh,
so
great.
even with
sounds
the decrease,
like a deal.
It sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
They've made even more money again. Such a Sony move.
It is, yeah.
It sucks, man. It sucks.
Well, but they chose the right time to do this. Whilst everyone's looking at Switch 2, they're like, let's just jack the prices. No one notice.
100%, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, let them take the flag.
And that's for the baseline PlayStation. As Neil ran us, is the Pro being affected? No word on the price for the Pro yet, and no word for you guys in America yet either.
Yeah.
That's the really interesting point. I think they're sitting and waiting to see what happens, obviously, with all the kind of crazy tax tariffs and all that nonsense happening there. But also seeing what Nintendo were going to do as well, because obviously Nintendo held back from the USA.
Yeah.
In an amazing move, Nintendo not increasing the price of the console despite the tariffs.
That was hugely shocking to me, because I thought since they pulled the price and the day, I fully expected it.
Could have been awful.
We were trying to do conversion, and stuff, and we were thinking this is going to be real expensive. So for the fact that Nintendo have gone, you know what, system's the same price, but all the accessories are up. I think that's actually a smart move, because the console's what matters. The accessories are just nice to have.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, precisely.
Captain Chat says PS Plus prices also went up in some regions. I cancelled my PlayStation Plus subscription a while back, so I didn't actually notice, and I didn't look at that.
I cancelled mine a long time
really interesting.
ago,
If you know how much and where, it'd be really good to know, because it's already questionable what value you get from the PlayStation Plus subscription. Yes. I know there is games if you go for like the top tier.
Yeah.
You can like download and play games.
You got streaming games of retro titles as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the PlayStation, the classics they call it, don't they? Which is kind of cool.
Yep.
They don't have day one releases, which is where they fall behind from Xbox.
I thought they did have day
one releases on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Not of the AAA games.
Well, not necessarily. No, not to the extent of. But you know, Tales of Kinzarazal was a day one in PlayStation Plus.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, that's a third-party indie title. Also, hi Lucy.
Hey.
And everyone else that's here.
Yes,
welcome.
You're all lovely. I remember buying Super Nintendo games in the 80s for $80 in the 90s. Yeah. We touched upon that last week when people were talking about the prices. That it's kind of hard to make references to days of old, but I'll just say in recent generations, you look at like the Wii U and the Switch, and then the Switch 2, Mario Kart is, if you adjust for inflation, the same price.
They've all been
exactly
averaging out at 80, like from the start to now. You know?
But
crazy.
It is expensive now.
It is expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so PlayStation making sure it's expensive for everyone. As someone put in the chat, I think it was Captain Chat, saying any excuse for Sony to fleece the gamer, they will. Horrible company. That's your words, not mine.
I honestly, as much as I do love PlayStation games and the nostalgia for me of like what the system is, I do find it very overpriced. Like everything seems extreme premium.
Yeah, and I want to add some kind of balance to that, because there's Marcus O'Brien in chat talking about his experiences with it and like his good experiences with it, which is great. I bought PS Premium to try out cloud streaming on the PS Portal and it works really well.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he said Hogwarts Legacy just got released as the PS Plus extra catalogue, which is great. And like they've got some bangers every few months, but mostly indie titles. It is great. And I think it makes sense if you've just got a PlayStation. And if you're not looking elsewhere, then totally makes sense.
I totally get it. Yeah, if I wasn't like PC, Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, like stranding everything, and I was just in PlayStation land, I'd be totally happy with what's on offer there, and I'd probably be okay with the prices because you're just in that ecosystem.
Yes, totally.
It's like being an Apple Mac user or whatever. You're just in that.
You know it's overpriced, but you're in it.
Yeah, you're in it, and everything works.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I'm like playing on PC, I'm playing on PC handheld, I'm playing on Switch, I'm playing on Xbox.
And I think to be fair, it's probably hard for Nintendo and PlayStation to keep up with what Xbox are doing with Game Pass.
Yeah.
I struggle to understand how they're making money out of Game Pass still, but apparently they are.
Wow.
Because it represents such insane value. Like all of the new releases, day one, all the AAA games, day one, Game Pass. You know, it's costing me like £10, £15 a month or something.
They can't be making as much as if they were just selling the titles.
Definitely not. No.
If they just became a third-party publisher, and just sold games on like PC, PlayStation, and Nintendo, they would surely make far more money.
They would make far more money. So I can understand why Nintendo and Sony haven't done that, because it seems kind of crazy, but I love that it's there from a purely selfish gamer's perspective.
Oh, but
this is wicked.
That's what I love about it. It's purely selfish reasons, because it's cheap and affordable. Like we were talking in the podcast that comes out on Tuesday, how I completely dismissed South of Midnight. Like after seeing the trailers and the announcement, I went, I'm not playing that. It came out on Game Pass. I went, I'll give it a go, and now I love it.
Has anyone in chat played South of Midnight yet? I played it for the first time this week, and I'm not as positive as you, but it's not my type of game.
Yeah.
I'm not into like action platforms as much, but stylistically, aesthetically, all of that, it's beautiful and it's so well made. It looks like a game that if you love a good story and a bit of action platforming, you're going to have the best time.
That's why I love it, yeah.
The great thing with it being in Game Pass was that I could try it.
Exactly.
And I go, it's not for me, actually, delete.
Yeah.
And I lost nothing.
That's why I tried it, because I thought I downloaded it the day it came out, and I just thought, I imagine I'll play half an hour, and then uninstall it. But I've been playing it. Yeah, really enjoying it.
There's a lot of conversation about what prices were back in the day. That's fair. And also Captain Chat's saying that the PS Plus price increase he's listed all the countries, all South American countries.
Wow. Which
sucks because stuff's very expensive for them. Like compared to what the earnings are.
Okay.
It's always quite expensive down there.
Right.
I'd love to know if you've played South of Midnight anyway. And talking of Game Pass games, I'm going to move it along a little bit, because I get a bit fed up with the conversations on pricing and PlayStation. It gets a bit depressing.
That's why we kind of save it for the news and stuff, because we are more like hyped on the what it means for gaming, because obviously the price, if you just took price out of everything, then it doesn't matter anymore, you know. So we want to focus on like the systems, the hardware, is it fun, like, and the quality of gaming life, I suppose.
Quality of experience.
Yeah, quality of experience.
And really, then it's because I think price is quite a personal thing. Like, is it overpriced or not? That's a very personal question to what you've got available in that moment. So really focusing on like the experiences and like, is it a quality experience? Means that when it comes to the price point, it means you can answer that question better.
Yeah, is it worth that price?
Armed with the information on is it a quality experience or not. Talking of Game Pass experiences, I still want to know if you've played South of Midnight, but Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered landed this week.
Yes, it did indeed.
I just want to say I was like a little kid during the announcement. I was proper excited. We all heard the rumours. We all knew it was coming. But I was very excited when the official announcement was happening. it's a landmark game, and I think in both of our kind of like histories and past.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people that kind of watch our channel, they're going to be of a similar age and demographic to us. It's going to be a landmark game for them too. So to go back into that world is really exciting.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
What was your experiences of it?
I don't want to reiterate what I've said in the podcast that's coming out next week, but I've got a deep love of Oblivion to the point where I was forced to buy it twice. So games were expensive then when you had to pay for them twice.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I basically, long story short, I go into this in the podcast, but I bought it and the computer couldn't run it, couldn't return it because I'd opened it. So I had to buy it again on Xbox. But I've played the hell out of Oblivion, like when it released. I mean, I did a best settings for the Ally X video just recently.
Yeah.
And I show my original game disc box.
Yeah, I loved it.
In that. I made a little joke that you've just finished installing it. Someone thought I was being legit serious that I'd installed the original one off disc.
Neil Rent's in the chat just saying, thanks for the Ally X settings video, by the way. Great video.
Oh, great.
Which is nice.
I hope it became useful.
And like Captain Chat says, that is a remaster. And someone else, Marcus O'Brien, I don't know why they called it a remaster. It's a full remake.
That's what I've been saying. Like in the video, they're like, so we've remade this, but it's a remaster. And we've remade that. I'm like, so you've remade it? No. But we remade it. It's like, no, it's a freaking remake.
And when they were going through with Virtuous saying like how long and what it is, it took them 4 years to make it, first of all. So that's like the full development.
To remake it, you mean?
Remake it.
Yeah.
That's like a full development cycle for a normal game.
Yeah.
And then they're saying, well, we used Unreal 5, which is a brand new engine, and we redid the combat, obviously, the interactions, and rebuilt every single asset.
Yeah, so they remade it.
So it's a remake, yeah.
But like jokes aside, as a remaster, that is like top tier now, isn't it?
It's set,
like,
you said it in the podcast.
Yeah,
It's set the standard for
just
remasters.
like Resident Evil 2 for like remakes. This is like the remaster bar now. Yeah. It's right up there.
It's exciting. I'm not going to reveal everything I said in the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to reiterate too much.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But it's exciting because it has set the standard high for remasters. It's also exciting because at the same time there's rumours that Virtuous are also working on Fallout 3.
Wow.
I don't know about anyone else, but that's like, I think that might be my top 3 games, Fallout 3.
Yeah. All 3 of them are just Fallout 3?
Fallout 3, Fallout 3, and Fallout 3. Now, I know anytime you mention Fallout, everyone always goes, oh, what about New Vegas?
New Vegas was great.
It's great. But
that came after 3.
Yeah.
And 3 is where I sank all my time in.
3 is so important. Like Oblivion, 3 is so important to me.
Yeah, same.
And the sad thing is, it's not old enough to be retro, in my mind. Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, really?
It probably is.
It's like 20 years old.
Yeah. But like, you know, like you play retro games and maybe you're playing like a PS1 title or a Sega Genesis or an SNES title or something. And you're like, you embrace the aesthetic and the jankiness because it's retro.
Yeah.
If you jump into like a PS3 era title, it's too close to it being modern for you to embrace the flaws,
isn't it? Yeah.
So when you jump into like Fallout 3 now, if you ever get a chance to, it's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I still love it just because of like I don't know. It gives me so much nostalgia, but you're right. Like it's a janky game because it's old.
Yeah.
But no different than like Oblivion.
Yeah.
Like going back to that originally. But it was funny because we were saying that the Oblivion Remaster is what you think you remember Oblivion being like. You know?
Yes,
like
it is
in my
exactly
head,
like your memory.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you look at the side-by-sides, you're like, oh, no, it's definitely changed.
Oh, wow, I didn't know this. Marcus O'Brien saying that they used Unreal 5 for the graphics and the creation engine for the game logic. Didn't realise you could use 2 engines at the same time.
Wow.
Neither did I. But game development's moved on a huge amount since I had, like, my very limited interactions with it back in, like, the early 2010s. I think that's, like, 15 years. It's, like, moved on massively since then. Do you think they set the bar too high now for Elder Scrolls 6? In question, can Elder Scrolls 6 compete with this remaster when it comes to graphics?
Yeah, I think so, because we're still years out yet from Elder Scrolls 6, aren't we? Like, realistically, I think we're like minimum a couple of years away. And
I hope not. I hope I'm not too old by the time it comes out.
Skyrim came out in 2011.
Oh.
We're already 14 years in the waiting for Elder Scrolls 6.
And you thought GTA 6 was bad.
Yeah. I built a PC specifically for Skyrim in 2011 whilst I was at university. I built a computer and I sat and played it in my little tiny room that was like the size of this chair.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is what we were kind of alluding to in the podcast. Like, really like Oblivion, but for me personally, I couldn't really get back into it just because I've spent so much time there originally, and I've got other games I'm playing currently.
It's
right?
tricky.
But I said to AJ, if it was Elder Scrolls 6, on the other hand, that would be a different ballgame. Like, I'd be in there, like, you know, playing through that entirely. I think they can do a lot yet, because foundationally, Oblivion, even though it looks like it's been completely remade, it is still Oblivion from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so Elder Scrolls 6 will be so different in terms of like the gameplay features, you know, the mechanics and everything. I'm sure will be slightly different. So yeah, I'm really hyped for
Acebird John points out that he'll be 40 by the time it comes out. I don't want to talk about that because then I'll be showing my age. But also, Django PES, in a very polite way, says should be addressing the fact that UE5 is garbage. Yeah, there's inherent problems with games that use Unreal Engine. There always has been.
Unreal, I swear every version has like a distinct issue.
It's Bethesda at heart, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Does Bethesda make Unreal Engine? Did they build the engine?
But also, we talk about it in the podcast, it isn't without its flaws still. And there's some jank that's been left in there. You can feel the skeleton of the old game. And do you know what? For a remaster, I kind of like it. It's not a remake. It does have the DNA of the old janky game still in there. And yes, there is some buggy bits and some performance issues that I'm sure might get ironed out. But bottom line is, at least for Xbox and PC players, this is a free game to play, really. It's part of your Game Pass subscription.
Yeah, that's, again, like going back to Game Pass, why that's so good. I do want to just bring this up for getting called out for saying SNES.
All right, okay. I do that. I do that for you. Because I get called out for SNES.
Yeah, people complain to us about any abbreviation because technically it's S.N.E.
Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
So it really it is the SNES.
I'm so glad I got called out for that.
But we always end up, because here in England at least, I don't know where everyone's from, but usually we just kind of like just say the abbreviation. SNES, ROG, like any of that, like NES, whatever it might be. And people are like, oh no, it's not that. So however we say it, we always get called out either way. Like,
depends on where you're from. Really.
Yeah.
There was a question earlier. I'm trying to find who it was from, and I apologise if I misrepresent who it is. I'm sure it was Neil Wren. But anyway, someone in chat was asking, did you get any experience with mouse mode on the Switch 2?
We did.
There is a whole video. If you're bored, there's a whole video on the channel on mouse mode.
It's about 10 minutes, nice and concise.
But yeah, we did get quite a lot of experience. And for those of you that missed that video or haven't seen any of the coverage from it,
check it out, because there's like B-roll in it and everything, so you'll see it in motion.
Just your short takeaway from it, it's amazing.
Really good.
There's some problems, I would say, that you'll probably get used to.
You're gonna get used to it. Yeah, there's the issue
it's
that
a bit
you
of
were
brain
finding.
Training, isn't it?
Of thumbstick might be in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
And because I thought you'd have to back out into game settings to change into mouse mode. I thought it'd be like, would you like to play controller or mouse mode?
100% thought it was
but
that.
It's not. It's literally on the fly. You can pick the controller up and it will just immediately go to controller mode, put the Joy-Con down, and with the gyro and the sensor detecting the table like at the same time, it then flips into mouse mode, which is wicked. But yeah, my issue was playing at mouse mode felt really good, but then I was like, I wonder what it's like in controller mode. And then that completely wiped my brain, so that when I went back on the table, I was still trying to use it as if it was just a controller.
I think that is a uniquely you problem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty special.
It is amazing how they've managed to work the switching between the two. There's my pun of the day for you.
I like that.
Because it's seamless. I was trying to figure it out with it in hand, and it's a combination of the gyro, accelerometer, and the IR sensor being used all at the same time to have that kind of
we were doing it like in the air or just covering the sensor, and nothing. It's got to be like the combined thing, but it works well on your thigh, which I specifically wanted to test.
Thigh mode works. Yeah, it's a bit like low DPI mouse. Yeah, but you're scrubbing a bit.
Around sort of 2000 DPI that it felt.
Yeah, but to give balance, they were showcasing it in the best possible scenario as in you were sat at a table with a massive desk mat in front of you, so it was perfect. And also you were playing Metroid Prime 4 at 120 FPS.
Yeah, they put it on 1080p mode.
So it's 1080p, 120. So like everything felt amazing.
Yeah.
But it's possible for you to do that too with your setup. So it's not like they're like creating an artificial setting that you could never replicate.
No. If you've got a desk or whatever, you could have it hooked up to your PC monitor or something. Or
yeah.
But even on your leg, it felt fine.
It was really good. It was really good. Okay. Another story that I want to cover quickly. And it's staying in the world of handheld gaming.
Oh, yes.
But it is talking about Xbox.
Wow.
I put it in the title, our Xbox going to be handheld sooner than you think, basically. And it's not talking about the ROG, the Asus collaboration with Xbox that got teased earlier this
Ally
month.
Xbox.
Yeah, that's likely to come. It is basically looking at how quickly are we going to see Xbox games coming to Switch 2, and will that beat an Xbox handheld to the market?
Absolutely.
I think it seems like the motorbike driving past.
That was a
nice.
tank.
So yeah, I think it's nailed on that Microsoft aren't going to want to miss this huge surge of new players.
Oh, they are all for it. I mean, we've already seen games like Grounded.
Yes.
And other games that I can't seem to remember off the top of my head.
There was a couple, wasn't there? Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. What, on Switch?
Not
no,
on
that
Switch,
was on
PlayStation.
I'm thinking, screw PlayStation. We're talking about Switch. Right? I'm just specifically focusing on Switch here. There was Grounded and some other stuff that came over.
Technically Tony Hawk's.
Yes.
Because that's an Activision game, isn't it?
So they already were bringing Microsoft games over. I mean, Tony Hawk's was on Switch prior to the acquisition, wasn't it? But I know what you're saying, because they showed it in the Direct.
Yes.
Tony Hawk's 3 and 4. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. So they are fully geared up for this. They've said before about Call of Duty,
yes,
which is a massive one.
So that's a really important one. Call of Duty straight away was part of. It was specifically isolated in the takeover that Microsoft did of Blizzard Activision. That Call of Duty would have to be available, and specifically on Nintendo consoles as well, because they needed it to be cross-party, so Microsoft didn't have a monopoly.
Yes.
So they signed an agreement with Nintendo that it would give them 10 years of all the releases of Call of Duty on Nintendo systems with complete parity, which translates as you'll get Call of Duty on Switch 2.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, it'll definitely be able to play it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of these games that I want to go through that we're likely to see, if you want to kind of question what the performance is going to be like, just think, will that game run on a Series S?
And you're pretty much there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
And in some cases, better. It's not being covered a lot, which is kind of intriguing me. Why not?
I guess because there's just no actual information yet.
But also, there's no space for this information either. Everything's about prices and pre-orders.
Yeah, that's very true.
Andrew asked, Game Pass on Switch, too much to ask. And
we've been joking about that for ages now.
Marcus wants Halo and Gears of War. Gears of War would be amazing.
Gears of War on Switch would be so cool.
Yeah. Game Pass on Switch is too much to ask, I think.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, because Nintendo won't be able to make a cut unless they say, like, how are they going to do it? Because you'd have to buy the Game Pass subscription through Nintendo or something. Like,
what happens to those who've already got a
subscription?
subscription?
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to want to take a cut of each purchased game through their store.
Will Microsoft transition in the end towards a game publisher subscription provider? I think yes and no. I think they'll always make some version of Xbox.
They will. They've already said that, yeah.
But it's not going to be a focus for them. It's important, and it will be the best way to play their games.
Yeah.
It'll be most optimized for that. But I think long term, I think they're already there, actually, to be fair.
Yeah,
We've seen it.
Yeah, I think where they're at right now is where they're going to remain.
Crumbly Pork's just
Pork's
joined.
in the house. What's
Hello,
up?
Pork, you beautiful member. I was going to call you a rude name then, but obviously
But we're live,
so I can't.
Live and in public.
So this information about Xbox games coming to Switch 2 not being covered enough. I think there's a few people in chat talking about it as well. Like I kind of expected Call of Duty perhaps to be announced in the Nintendo Direct.
Nah, that'll be in June. They're going to slap everything. I really think so.
I think we'll hear about it from Microsoft first, and it will be in June.
Yeah.
And they'll be pleased to announce that they're working with their partners in Nintendo. And I say partners because Phil Spencer, only a few weeks before the launch of the Switch 2, was actually talking about his kind of love for the work they do with Nintendo. I've got some like important quotes that it was literally interviews, I want to say start of April, maybe the end of March time.
Yeah.
That it says, I want to support the Switch 2. Nintendo has been a great partner. We think it is a unique way for us to reach players who aren't PC players and who aren't our players on Xbox.
Yeah.
It lets us to continue to grow our community of people that care about the franchises that we have, and that's really important to us. So we have to make sure that we continue to invest in our games. And then it goes on to say, I'm a big believer in what Nintendo means for this industry and us continuing to support them. The Xbox boss said that bringing their franchises is an important part of Xbox's future.
Yeah, for sure, because they want to be that publisher. I mean, they've got all these huge publishers, like, publishers now, all the companies, whatever you call them. I've brain devs,
Devs.
Whatever.
Studios.
Studios, there we go. Whee.
It's been a long day already.
It has been a long day. So, yeah, they're going to want to, release them everywhere. And Nintendo Switch 1's like nearly 160 million players?
Yes.
So, we're going to get on to pre-orders in a minute, but with the amount of people that's going to be buying a Switch 2, they need some of those people playing Xbox games on that Switch.
It's an important part of Xbox's future. Phil Spencer's word, Nintendo Switch 2.
Absolutely.
So what games we're going to see? And there's loads of people asking these questions, like what we could see that they've seen. Marcus O'Brien saying that he heard this morning that Oblivion Remaster is coming.
Absolutely.
I 100% expect that.
If it's Steam Deck verified, then you're totally able to
that's another thing. If any of these Microsoft games that we're questioning are Steam Deck verified, then hands-on 100% you'll see it on Switch 2.
Yeah, for sure.
And dare I say, it'll be probably a better experience on Switch 2 because it'll be optimized
it will
for
be,
it.
because
specifically for that hardware.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be the case.
And you've got DLSS.
You've got, yes. And we've now confirmed that DLSS is being used in handheld by CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, whereas our speculation originally was maybe DLSS is only used docked.
So the reason we were questioning it, I saw Digital Foundry talking about it, was that the builds that they were using in the demos in the events that we went to weren't using DLSS. So
there you go.
So that's why we were like handheld. We're not sure what's going on here.
Yeah.
Obviously, those guys know way better than we do because they're like the proper, Nintendo shills apparently.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say texts, but the Nintendo shills too.
Yeah. They do adverts.
Some of the questions about this before I want to get on to speculating ourselves about what games we'll see. I saw Acebird John saying, if Switch 2 is about as powerful as the Series S, it'd be interesting to see what Xbox are coming to Switch 2, like Sea of Thieves and Forces, with the camera feature for co-op. Sea of Thieves, I 100% can expect to see.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening.
Forza would be really interesting because there's no analog triggers.
Yeah, they'd have to change the game to work with like left stick for throttle. Whether or not that's already a thing, I'm not like a realistic racer guy, which we go into in the podcast, funny or not.
Yeah. Imagine playing Xbox Series games and Steam games natively on the same handheld device, like rumoured. So that is the rumoured Asus Microsoft collaboration that is coming. But I think we'll see these Xbox games handheld before on Switch 2 before that happens.
I think we'll see them on Switch 2, yeah, for sure. And again, with that optimization specifically for that console, it will likely run these better than the PC handhelds, in terms of like more stable and everything.
And having, there's so much, isn't there, that you have to kind of take into the equation.
Yeah.
Especially when I think the most side-by-side comparison you can make is the Steam Deck, realistically.
Yeah.
Like performance-wise.
Yeah, it would be the closest.
And like raw power, you go, Steam Deck might just edge it.
Nah, not now. It's old. Steam Deck's old.
Well, yeah. I just think 'cause it can run at a high wattage handheld.
But we don't know that.
Very true. But I was going to say the games are going to be actually made for Switch rather than just the PC builds of them.
Yeah.
And of course, you have the advantage of you don't have to tinker under the hood. The most you're going to get, and the most Nintendo have ever given us, is a performance and quality mode.
Yeah.
Which is big for Nintendo.
It's huge. I wasn't expecting that. For the Switch 2, I wasn't expecting that.
And you want to play it docked? You want to play it on your TV? Well, you can technically play your Steam Deck on a TV, but it's probably going to try and force a 4K output, and it's going to hate it and just
Yeah,
crash.
you're going to have to mess around in the settings to make sure you're outputting at the correct resolution, but it doesn't get like a bump up in performance when you dock it, whereas the Switch does. Clock speeds go up massively.
Yeah, it really does.
And you got DLSS.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's really huge. So what games are we going to see? I mean, I fully believe maybe not Forza, but maybe just a different build of Forza that's just digital triggers. Because they're kind of going, well, everyone playing this is going to be playing it casually anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Yes.
Maybe. But I would argue any Microsoft-owned game you'll see on Switch 2.
Yeah. I mean, Switch one's already got all like the Crash games and stuff, you know. Yeah. So like, I really think we'll see a lot of Xbox games coming over.
Yep.
You know, a lot.
I think we'll see Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
If you can run it on the Series S, I think you'll probably get a build that will work on Switch 2. I think we'll see Starfield.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's not on PlayStation yet, though.
Yeah, but maybe they...
I think they value Nintendo more than they value Sony.
Yeah, of course they do. Sony's like their direct competition.
Yeah.
Nintendo's not. Nintendo's still just floating around doing its own thing.
The Oblivion remaster, as someone pointed
Definitely
out, Marcus pointed out in chat. That's got to be. That's going to be amazing. Call of Duty, we know, is kind of nailed on.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's games like Flight Sim that was talked about a lot in the before the release. Got mouse mode now, though.
That's true, but that's a demanding game, like a heavily demanding game.
Yeah, it's tricky.
I don't know if they have potato mode built in, have they?
it's just like Flight Sim 2000. It loads up.
Yeah, it's just a 2D, like, you know, when you're looking at flights on your phone, and it's just literally like a little picture. That's what it is.
We saw, I know it's not a Blizzard Activision game, but we saw Civ 7 at the event, which is actually quite an interesting kind of comparison for like a more traditional PC or big console game that coming to Switch 2. Any of the Halo games, like the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see them?
Oh,
that's a weird one for
it's
them
a weird
to give
one,
up,
isn't it? Yeah, because you feel like they would be precious about it, but I think Microsoft aren't precious about anything right now. Do you know what I mean? I think they're so heavily focused on Game Pass and just getting the games out there to reap some of the money back from all the money of the world they spent buying every developer.
They did buy everyone.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe they're not precious. Maybe we see Halo come over, even if it's just like the Master Chief Collection and not anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just speculating here.
Ambuk Pie says, what games do you expect to see at the Xbox Showcase this year? I expect Spyro 4, a new COD, and the long-rumoured Gears Collection.
Wow.
I think it might be a bit early for the new COD, because it'd be June, won't it? The next one.
Maybe they don't show it yet. I don't know how much gap they do before, like from announcing to when they release it. It's just yearly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's yearly. Yeah, so everyone knows it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I don't. Do they normally do it in around that sort of time and then leave it like 6 months?
I know that there's supposed to be a lot still happening this year from them.
Yeah,
they alluded to that after the last one when we had like Doom and Expedition 33 and South of Midnight and all. That there was those 4 games they deep dived, and they said it's really exciting because we've still got loads more games to show you this year, which is just, I've got to give them credit. They have been absolutely smacking out the titles.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see Doom on Switch 2.
Yeah,
absolutely, because all the others are on Switch 1.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush don't own anymore, do they?
No, they gave it up.
But whoever owns that, I can't remember. I really hope they bring that to Switch 2. That's like the perfect Switch title. Such a good game.
It's one of my favourite games that I played really good. On the Ally X.
Yeah, I slept on it like hard.
Yeah,
but
it's so good handheld. So cool. Input lag on the Switch 1 was pretty bad. Will we see it better or worse with the OG Switch 1 games being run through a translation layer?
Yeah, well, it's really difficult to know until we try it. But it's weird, isn't it? Because they're saying that the Switch 1 hardware differs so much from the Switch 2 hardware. There's people being like, oh, it's basically emulating Switch 1 games.
Yes. Yeah.
So like this person's saying here, ZMax?
Yeah, ZMax.
ZMax. I don't know. Until it comes out, I couldn't tell you until we like actually give it a go.
I think it'll probably be, if you're worried about input lag specifically.
It sounds like if it's going to have to, I was going to say if it's going to have to go through another process.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's going to introduce more latency.
Yeah, it's going to be a high quality emulation, much like how the Switch Online experiences work. I think, like the GameCube games that we played on Switch 2. It's like a really high quality emulation.
Yes, yeah, which the average Joe probably wouldn't notice any different.
No, that's fair. And I will say, on that note, before we get on to the next part with the Switch 2 stuff, I saw a lot of blowback about like, I'll just play these GameCube games on my Steam Deck and talk about emulators and stuff. It's just an emulator. I'm like, yeah, it is just an emulator. Bob Wolf made a really good point in his most recent video. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It was one of my favourite videos I've seen in recent times, actually, because it's a really balanced argument between like the Steam Deck and PC handhelds and Switch 2. And let's be honest, if you're watching this, you're probably going to buy a Switch 2, because most people are. But he's talking about, like, there's just something that hits different about playing Nintendo games on a Nintendo machine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can play Wind Waker on Steam Deck. In fact, we did like whole like emulation comparisons with Steam Deck and some other Amberneck, I think it was. With Wind Waker specifically.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And yeah, it looks great, plays great. It takes a lot of messing around with to get it good.
Yes.
The Switch Online experience, you just play it.
Yeah.
And you don't like the controls, you can remap them.
Yeah.
That's the only tinkering you really get.
Yeah.
And there's just something, he's so right with that. It's just something that feels a little bit different.
Oh, totally. I mean, for GameCube is something real special to me, because that was like my favorite, when I was growing up and stuff. GameCube was like my absolute favorite. I literally got a nosebleed when I got my GameCube. I was that hyped, right? And I had the Super Mario Sunshine t-shirt and everything whenever that came out. But anyway,
has anyone in chat ever got like injuries from getting games?
Nothing hit me. I had such high blood pressure from like being so hyped that I'd just got a nosebleed. But the annoying thing was I couldn't play because I was just like blood everywhere. So I was like, no, But anyway, so I obviously, when I had my Steam Deck, I straight away was emulating all the GameCube stuff. I had everything on there that I liked from GameCube, but it doesn't feel the same as when we went into London and I was like playing it on a Switch with a proper Nintendo GameCube controller, like a modern one. It would just hit different, like you said. There's no bugs, there's no crashing, like there's no tinkering.
It's just perfect.
You click on the game and it works. Like it's just different.
I want to congratulate Expert John in the comments here, because it absolutely mirrors how I feel. It says, confession, I have never finished an emulated game.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I have. I don't think I have. I always get paralysis of decision with emulators. Too many games.
That's the thing. Weirdly with me, if I was using an emulating handheld before this whole handheld craze of like PCs, so when you get the Ambernicks and stuff, like the actual like little tiny fake Game Boys and stuff, I would always end up setting them up wrong so that like you could play through disc 1 of PlayStation games.
Oh god.
And then when it got to disc 2, it just didn't work because I didn't set it up properly. So I wouldn't even get that far. Like and I'd see it as almost like when I'm on PC where you play the graphics menu game where you just sat there tweaking for
playing the
ages.
settings game tonight.
Yeah, and that's what it was like with emulation. I'd spend ages like getting stuff going, and then I'm like, cool, that runs. Next,
now
and
I'm
then
bored.
Now I'm on to another game. I wouldn't just sit down and enjoy playing the game. Like it was really weird. And I've got a modified Game Boy Advance. So it's an official Game Boy Advance, but it's completely modded with an IPS screen,
isn't it?
And all that stuff. But I've got a ROM cartridge. I don't. I'm speaking hypothetically here, Nintendo. I don't have a ROM cartridge, but there's games that I've pulled legitimately from my Game Boy games through the Game Boy. What was that little thing that we got? The thing that you can pull the ROMs off?
I don't know how to help you out of breaking the law anymore. Keep digging.
Yeah. So anyway, I pulled the games off of those.
There was a ROM reader that we got.
So that it's all legitimate, don't worry. I played a lot of Game Boy Advance games most of the way, if not all the way through on that. So I'd say that's the thing that I've played the most emulated games on.
Original hardware, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is original hardware. You're right, but I'm still emulating the game.
But we're probably alone in that. There's a couple of people in chat there that are saying, like Kaichang LNG and Rion's saying, you're all crazy. I've finished plenty of games emulated.
Yeah,
that's cool. Loads of people do. There was a question I wanted to get to before we go into the Switch 2 game prices. There it goes. Acebird John, are base Switch 1 games being upscaled? It has to be because of the larger screen, right?
Not necessarily.
No, it might just be a large stretched output.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to answer that until we can actually. And I don't even know how we'd pixel count it.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be people that will be able to do that.
Digital Foundry will be able to pixel count it.
Absolutely figure this out. I wouldn't know because you're paying for upgrades.
Yeah, I don't think they would
There's going to be
by default.
No.
There's like a £7 upgrade, isn't there?
Well, but that is for an actual performance increase and
graphics and stuff,
like a resolution increase and stuff. So they've actually put work behind it. But for base games, we know that there might be free updates from companies.
Yes.
So there's no like paid thing behind that. It would just be like a free like up-res or whatever. So maybe, but I think that's down to the developer. Like, really depends on the game. So if you've got some really random, obscure game, like, there's a chance it will just run exactly the same. It will just be stretched out, I would assume.
If you're curious about your backwards compatibility whilst we're there, there is a guide on the Nintendo website where it goes through all the games that aren't backwards compatible.
Yes.
As in, every game will technically be able to be put in the Switch 2, but some have got some technical problems that they haven't been able to fix, and some it looks like they're not going to. The list is actually very small. They've got games that will start but have bugs, games that won't start, and the other list is games with bugs that they're trying to fix. In each 3 lists, there's no more than like 20 games,
and they're all from Bethesda.
They all use Unreal Engine. No, they're all from like. Quite a lot of them are quite old as well. The list of games that are actual compatible is, I think it's like 15,000 or something.
Yeah. Out of the like 20 million games on the Switch.
Yeah. Mainly like Hentai Medieval Farmer 6. That's what the eShop is filled with. So if you're curious, have a look if you're worried about it. But no word on what they're actually going to do. I don't think they'll upscale it. I think they'll just stretch it, in truth. So, and for handheld, that won't be so much of a problem. On your screen, if you've got a 4K TV, it might be a bit rubbish.
I don't think so, because it will just play at 1080p on the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Switch 2's already got 1080p mode or 1440p mode or 4K mode. I can't see it really changing anything when it's docked. It will just look like the Switch 1 version. It might just have better FPS because you've got more horsepower behind it. Yeah.
Mario Odyssey and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are getting free updates for resolution fonts. That's true. So I remember that being announced. So some games, and even first-party games like that. I mean, Scarlet and Violet would be criminal if they didn't, to be honest. It's how they didn't refund everyone.
Yeah.
For that
was like 20 FPS.
Yes. Okay, so we talked about this in a whole... I think it was the podcast was about this, wasn't it? About the Switch game prices.
Yes, we go into
next
it.
week.
Yeah, it goes out on Tuesday.
I don't want to dwell on too much because that's going to overlap with that a lot. But
yes, we go into detail there.
We've got prices announced by Nintendo for the third-party games, and guess what, everybody? It's like same price as games everywhere else.
Yeah,
so it's not actually more expensive. So things like Cyberpunk 2077. The full edition with Phantom Liberty is $59.99 on Switch 2.
Which is on PlayStation 5.
Which is the same as PS5. It's £10 cheaper than it is on Steam, although obviously on Steam you could just get a CD keys from your uncle in Argentina.
Yeah.
Fast Fusion is £13.49, which I'm so hyped for.
Oh, yes.
That Gravity Racer.
I'm going to get that. I'm definitely going to get that.
The Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom upgrades. So if you already own the Switch 1 version, which we were just talking about, and you want the Switch 2 version of those, so the upgrade is $7.99.
But it's not necessary. You're not
have
forced
to do it.
to pay. Yeah, you can just play the Switch 1 version.
But from playing the Switch 2 versions...
Oh, yeah, it's definitely worth $7.99.
Definitely worth it. It's so good.
Or you get it for free in the expansion pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like £30 for a year.
Yes.
So you might as well.
Just get the expansion pack. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that's got an upgrade pack as well, but that includes the DLC for the new levels.
Yeah, it says it's a performance and graphical increase and an expansion pack, and that's $16.99.
Yeah, that's right. The full games are $66.99. And now the prices, variable pricing, is all over the place. But the thing is, everyone's talking about variable pricing, but it already existed.
Yeah.
Nintendo have always had variable pricing
for ages,
all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda Breath of the Wild and, Tears of the Kingdom was $70.
I think because part of the problem with the conversation was they obviously had Mario Kart World as their launch title.
Yeah, that was the kicker, wasn't it? Because it was straight in with the highest price game.
Straight in with the highest price game.
So everyone assumed everything's going to be 80 now. So everyone was like kicking up a stink.
And so far, that's the only game that's that price.
Yeah.
So, in many ways, they probably would have been better of listing all the prices at the same, like launching all the prices, so everyone could see.
They should have done
actually just
a bracket. Yeah, games are going to range between this price and this price for first party, Nintendo games, but they didn't. They just went 80, and everyone went no.
Yakuza 0 is $44.99, and Split Fiction is the same, $44.99. They're the same prices as they are everywhere else on all the other platforms. So it's, do you know what? It's sounding like they're pricing in line.
Yeah.
And it seems like their most intensive first party game is the most expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
But not that much more expensive than the most expensive first party title from the last generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much was Tears of the Kingdom?
70. Yeah.
So it's 75 now.
Yeah, for us here in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's like £5 more, yeah. Darren Nye, I stopped playing Astral Chain a couple years ago to wait and play on Switch 2, so I'm hoping it run better. I did exactly the same thing. Back in the day, I was streaming Astral Chain on this channel. It's actually still somewhere on the channel from a long time ago. I did several streams on it, got probably halfway through the game, maybe further, and then I stopped. And the same with... someone else here says, Bird John says, same here for Tears of the Kingdom. Same for me. Same with Scarlet and Violet. Like, there's so many games that I really enjoyed on Switch, but the performance was just that bad that I couldn't deal with it. So I've just gone, I'm going to wait for Switch 2. So I'm hoping that a lot of stuff gets a performance increase, even if they don't patch it. Yeah. I'm hoping the Switch 2 is just like raw performance, like helps push the FPS up.
I put off Xenoblade. The definitive edition.
We both skipped Xenoblade Chronicles X because we're just like, it's too soon to the Switch 2. Just don't. Do you know what I mean?
I hope that it'd be lovely if they did bring like a Switch 2 version for that game.
I'd like a graphical overhaul. Yeah. But it seems like people have already found in the code that there's a 60 FPS mode. So even if it looks the same, but there's a 60 mode, I'll take that. Yeah. Because it already looks good. But I would prefer to have another bump in graphical like fidelity.
Yeah, but I think a lot of Nintendo would have noticed this as well, but I'm sure a lot of people watching this did the same. There was a lot of games we just held out on because we knew Switch 2 was going to be coming and the Switch 1 just couldn't cope. Pokemon was the worst, Scarlet and Violet.
That was horrendous.
And then seeing the difference, the Legends Z and A, they were doing the Direct where they showed Metroid Prime 4 and that game for the Switch 1, and they were showing the Switch 1 versions of the game. Yes. And then seeing the Switch 2 versions of those games and playing Prime 4 in London. Yeah, yeah. The difference is just massive.
Insane. That treehouse they did between Breath of the Wild on Switch 1 and Switch 2, which should have been in the Switch 2 announcement direct, but they, for some reason, showed no side-by-sides. I don't know why they didn't do this. Yeah. But in that treehouse, they showed a side-by-side for the whole start-up of the bit in Hyrule Forest. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Go and find that. Just Google treehouse, Nintendo Treehouse, Breath of the Wild comparison Switch 2, something like that. Yeah. And it'll be on YouTube. Find that bit where there's a split screen. It is absolutely phenomenal footage, seeing how much better Switch 2 looks like.
Skeletal, I want to bring out this comment because it segues really nicely to the next section. Skeletal says, drop the price. Now, I think you've been listening to the hyperbolic news too much because, unfortunately for you, Switch 2 has sold out everywhere and is about to break every single sales record ever made since the dawn of time.
It seems that way for sure. Yeah.
Well, American pre-orders, straight off the bat, they happened yesterday, didn't they? Started yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
And they sold out in hours. GameStop's website crashed. Walmart, Best Buy, Target and GameStop sold out in less than 10 minutes. There are apparently some isolated stores that still have some stock in them. So if you're in the US, get in your car. You've got people queuing around blocks. Yes. One analyst is reporting that Nintendo are being able to make up to 8 million units for launch day.
Yeah.
8 million units for launch day. To put that into perspective, the current sales record for a console at launch is the PS5, which sold 4 million units
in 2 months.
In its first 2 months. This is going to double that.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
In its first day.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So we may feel all a little bit aggrieved that things are more expensive now. But if we step outside of what the like Twitter and YouTube comments conversation is, like the wider gaming world, there's 150 million people that have the Switch.
Yeah.
We've all been waiting an entire generation for its upgrade. It's here.
Yeah.
What they've made is remarkable. Objectively, it's incredible. It's going to last you another 8 years. Games like Mario Kart World, it sucks that it's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But you'll play that game for probably 200 to 300 hours. I guarantee
Absolutely.
it.
And it's 50% off if you buy the bundle.
Buy the bundle. And in their millions, people are rushing out to buy this. If you've not managed to get a pre-order in yet now, I think you might be waiting months until you can get one.
Potentially, yeah.
And that's despite the fact that Nintendo are making 8 million units at launch.
Well, even just Japan alone, which was insane. Like, the Switch 1 sold 330,000 units in a week.
Yes.
And right now, Nintendo have come out to apologize.
Yeah, the Nintendo, and this is where the big story comes on. The Nintendo president, yesterday or the day before, came out to apologize to Japanese customers that they're not going to be able to meet the demand for pre-orders at launch. And that's not because they've not tried, as we've heard. They've tried to make 8 million units available for launch day. But in Japan alone, the Japanese domestic market has had 2.2 million pre-orders on the Nintendo website.
Alone. Yeah, that's no retailer or anything. That's just direct from the Nintendo website. 2.2 million pre-orders. Again, Switch 1 sold 330,000 in its first week in Japan alone.
It shows you the growth.
It's absolutely insane. So worlds combined, that's why people are getting cancelled orders and all sorts. Like they're not going to meet demand. And it's funny because Nintendo were like, don't worry, everybody. They did an AMD with the 9070 XT. They were like, we got loads of stock.
So Nintendo,
we're fine.
Nintendo, how are you going to combat scalping?
Yeah.
Got an idea. We're just going to make loads of them and then no one's going to...
Yeah.
I mean, we sold like 330,000 in the first week of Japan last time. So we make like 1 million for Japan. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you screwed up there, guys.
Yeah. Switch 2 will be the most units sold of all time, Andrew asks.
For a launch, yeah, I fully expect so, yeah. Because, again, if PlayStation sold 4.5 million in 2 months, in the first 2 months, if they sell 8 million on day one as a pre-order, like, that's insane.
That's insane.
Like, absolutely insane. The biggest thing will be, how fast can they restock?
Yes.
That's the question we got to be asking now. Is it going to take a month? Can they do it, in a couple of weeks? Are we looking at 3 months?
And what's the tariff situation for American customers? What's the tariff situation in 3 months?
Yeah, well, because there's a 90-day hold, isn't there? Yeah. So right now the system's the same price, but in 3 months' time it might not be. But this is what happened with the Wii. The original Wii. I know I'm going back now to 20 years ago, but the Wii had the same problem. Major stock issues. It was months and months and months and months before people were able to get one. I remember I was lucky enough to get one. My parents sourced me one for Christmas, months after the release. Everyone was blown away that we managed to get one. So it's going to be like that all over again.
I always, now I often think about my PS5 experience. I had to wait a year to get a PS5.
Yeah, you almost paid scalper prices. I had to stop you.
You had to climb me down from the ledge so many times.
I know.
And do you know what? I remember saying to you, I might just get a PS4 Pro and just be done with it.
You should have.
I absolutely should have.
Yeah. I talked you out of that as well.
I should have just waited for the PS5 Pro and got that. But now, a bit of 128 KB lore for you. Do you know what I'm going to do this weekend?
Oh, no. You're going to tell them now? You doing it this weekend?
Yeah, we'll probably do a whole video about it because, why not?
All these PlayStation games?
Not all of the games. I'm keeping the games.
You can't play them.
Look, I can. I've got so many PlayStations here. There's a 1, there's a 4, there's a 2,
you just don't need the 5.
I'm selling my PS5. It'll be the first PlayStation generation that I haven't owned the console.
Well, you have owned it. You just
I have
got rid
owned
of it
but
because you
not
don't like
kept
it.
I'm selling the PS5. It's gonna go.
I'm still gobsmacked. I'll believe it when I see it.
I've not turned it on. I think since
I force you to buy an Xbox.
you forced me to buy an Xbox. No, I don't think I've played a game properly on this since Rebirth came out.
Yeah.
We should be over 12 months ago.
Oh yeah. I mean, you did give me stick for selling my PlayStation.
I did. I called you a hypocrite. I hated you for it. I called you out in front of these lovely people, and then.
But I can play PlayStation games on my PC.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But so are you.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for the super chat, Ace John.
Oh, thanks
you for your coverage and hard work. Oh, I'm going to heart that. There you go.
I just hearted it IRL, man.
In real life.
Yeah.
I did see someone asking, I can't see where it is now, asking about load times on the Switch 2.
Oh, majorly improved compared to Switch 1. We saw not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. That loaded fast. I think there's footage of it on some of our videos where we talked about that. Answering all your Switch questions. Yes. I think it was in there. Yeah. I put up the clip unedited so you could see when we hit go, and then just after that I showed the Tree House live footage of them directly split screen between Switch 1 and Switch 2. It's like 2 times faster, 3 times faster, much faster. Like, it is noticeably
incredible.
Faster.
Yeah. I just want to go back to PS5 a bit quickly. This obviously I've stirred up some hatred for, not for me, for PlayStation HD, which is interesting. I will not buy the PS6. I'll wait for the PS6 Pro.
Yeah, that
thanks
makes sense.
to that trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm probably with you on that.
That's like the true,
unless it's
generation.
a generational leap into the PS6 for some reason. Captain Chat says if it wasn't for GTA 6, I would also sell mine.
Yeah. It's a tough. You're debating it. I can see its wheels. I go, oh damn! I didn't think of that. See, I'm PC. Like,
is GTA 6 guaranteed to be PS5 exclusive?
No, like
that's
it's
the other
not
thing.
A guarantee, but it's a trend, isn't it? But the thing is Square have always trended to, release exclusively, and now they've stepped out and gone, we're not doing that anymore. So whether Rockstar, I think, is stupid for not just releasing it everywhere at once, because they'll make far more money like immediately. Like, I know they're banking on, we'll just put it on PlayStation, and then 6 months later, the same people that got it on PS5 will buy it again on PC, and then 6 months later they'll buy it on Xbox or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure GTA 5 came out on Xbox and PlayStation at the same time.
Did.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not a PlayStation exclusive.
No.
It will work on, it'll be on Series X.
I think the previous ones before 5 were, and I think that kind of myth is maybe propagated. Like, the first, like GTA, the first 3D ones were definitely...
Yeah. The first 3D ones?
Like the PS2.
Yeah, I don't know, because you're thinking GTA 3 now.
Yeah.
So GTA 1 and 2 were definitely on the PlayStation.
GTA 3, I'm sure was.
I played it on the PlayStation. GTA 4 was definitely on Xbox.
So it's interesting, isn't it? So we're not sure, and it's not been confirmed by them, because obviously, officially, all we've got from them is that one trailer.
Yeah.
So
I love that, Captain Jazz. If it comes to PC day one, PS5 is gone.
He's so right.
Yeah, that's so right. It's not going to be PC day one. They will draw that out for like 12 months.
Feminist says the thing is, PC players will never buy it for full price. Yeah, if this game, as we suspect, is over $100 or pounds,
I'll be taking it from Argentina, I think.
Yeah, I think when all CD keys is going to sell out quick. No PC player is going to pay full price for it.
No,
I fully believe it's going to be $120.
I think it's going to be $100 for GTA, or £100.
And I just want to call out Alistair Rickman for the greatest bit of advice that I've been keeping to myself because I don't want prices to spike. I've been buying Switch 1 games from Vintage for cheap.
That's the secret.
That I'll upgrade to Switch 2 versions.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I don't need to do that because I've got like a whole house full of Switch 1 games.
Yeah, but the Zelda games, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom,
you need to.
Buy second hand and then upgrade them.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And anyone that you want to play. I would just say, though, I think this generation of Switch, don't hoard games. There's no point. Because it's expensive now.
Games.
Yeah, you're a hoarder, though. So am I.
Oh, you want about Switch 2 games?
Switch 2 games.
Yeah.
It's going to be expensive. So do yourself a favour, and just buy the games you want to play. It's been a promise I made to myself. I think it was the start of last year that I stopped just buying games that I wasn't going to play.
I think that was, both of our New Year's resolution last year.
As you can tell, and you can't even see the full room on this angle, it got really out of hand.
It got out of hand, yeah. Even for me, I had to stop myself.
I was just like spending all my money on games.
We were just collecting games and not always playing them. And it was like, you know what? Let's just buy games that we're going to play. Yeah. And then Game Pass happened. So now we don't even pay for games and we still don't play them. Yeah,
that's true. I remember looking at other games after playing GTA 5 and not wanting to spend full price on games for 2 years because I compared them to GTA 5's value.
Yeah.
It's got to be said, isn't it? We criticised them for taking so long to make GTA 6, and I don't particularly like GTA Online. I know a lot of people do love it.
Yeah, it's never been for me.
But GTA 5's longevity is... I think they're going to write books about it.
It's insane, isn't it?
Insane.
Absolutely mad. When was that? 2012? 2013? It's got to be 12 to 13 years old now.
2013, I believe it was.
Right. I was still at uni when that came out.
Yeah,
I was just before I left.
I remember playing it, completing it on PS3, and then doing the same on PS4. I've never played it on PS5, actually. I've never played the PS5 version. Although it's on Game Pass now.
Is it actually?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was recent.
Yeah, this week.
I was going to say, I was thinking, why don't I know that? Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah, it's pretty incredible. So, again, you go back to that thing like, what is worth it? Back to the pricing thing. What is worth it? With the Nintendo stuff, I'd argue like things like the Pro Control 2, definitely worth it because it's an incredible thing. GTA 6 being expensive when it comes out, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, if you're into that game and you know you like GTA gameplay, then you're guaranteed to you're going to be spending hundreds of hours in that game.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't really care for it, then it's not worth it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no point paying that much. And that's, at the end of the day, the way you've got to live. Buy games now at these higher prices. If you look at a game and go, kind of like it, but I'm not like that fast, then just wait for a discount. I've sat on games for potentially years before I've bought them.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of want to play it, but I don't want to pay full price.
Well,
so I let it drop and then play it, buy it.
You know, when we were first talking about the game prices and we were comparing it to generations of the past, like the 90s and the early noughties, when games were much more expensive relatively to what incomes were. And it's only been like the past 10 years where games got cheap. They didn't go up in price or very much didn't go up in line with inflation. Now they've started to creep up and they're hitting that £75, £80 mark. You're back to kind of how it felt like you were in the early noughties.
Yeah.
Where I remember very vividly at that time, I wanted to buy games, but I never bought them at launch because I couldn't afford to, or I'd buy one a year at launch or something crazy, one or two a year.
Yeah.
And any other games that I just wanted to play, I'd complete that game that I bought, I'd trade it in.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd buy the second-hand version of the next one.
I got banned.
I think we're back to that.
I got banned from my local game shop because I would buy a game.
Which did you? Oh, you were a weekender?
Home, yeah, I'd go home, complete it, come back and go, I don't really like this one. And because it was just an independent shop.
Yeah.
And I was a kid, like he was like, I would just trade it for something else, like equivalent value. And then he cottoned on that I was just playing all these games and giving them back. And then he like literally stopped me. And then I was giving these discs and stuff to friends to like take back with receipts. And then he realized I stood outside and he was like, no.
You were that kid.
He really didn't like me. Like, honestly, he would shoo me down the road and be like, go away. I'm like, ah. I was Little Billy at that point.
Is that where the legend was born?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Little Billy.
But yeah,
I love this comment from Ace John. I was around 25 when GTA 5 came out, and I needed to show my ID when I bought it.
I was about 23, I think, and I'm pretty sure I got ID'd as well, yeah. Why is Port getting in the bath?
How long getting in the bath and want to watch?
Are you saying we need to do hot tub streams? Because we could put a hot tub right here.
That's how we celebrate 100k.
Yes.
Hot tub stream. I still want your ideas, guys, in chat. How we celebrate the landmark that's approaching us. I don't know when we'll break 100,000. It'll probably be next month.
Within a month, I'd say. We're at 94k now.
Yeah.
Within a month.
I want your ideas on how we can celebrate breaking that massive landmark.
Yeah.
If we can time it right, it'd be perfect if we can get together and do a little like live thing.
If it's within a month, do you reckon it'll be when Switch 2 drops?
Shut up. Wait, what? Yes, it could be. It could be a launch day.
Wow.
Do you think we could get like a special edition Switch 2 made?
where Nintendo pay us, 'cause like everyone thinks they do. Happy birthday!
Can we laser etch one of the Switches?
Yeah.
Yours?
Yeah, okay. As long as it's my face like this on the back.
You'd never sell it. Never ever sell it.
It's all right.
Right. So, a few questions for chat. Should I sell my PS5?
Yes.
And what should we do to celebrate 100,000?
Laser etch our Switches.
Laser etch our foreheads, 100k. Join pork in the bath for a hot tub stream. What can we do?
I know it's funny. Like, you could probably laser etch the back of it if it's metal. You could take the back off because you could just replace it. Someone will sell a spare one.
For certain you could, yeah. Yeah, it's just going to be little clips, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just get a spudgeon in there. Alistair's idea is a Mario Kart-a-thon, which is a genius idea.
With the cameras on.
Yeah, we could stream it here.
Oh, yeah, we could.
Yes, you could.
I think you can do it in like teams, can't you?
Yeah.
And there's up to 24 people?
Yeah.
We could potentially do that.
Well, just have just subscribers like Lucky Dip join us for a Mario Kart marathon.
Yeah, that
24-player Mario Kart Discord. See, everyone's on this idea.
That could genuinely be a thing because if we could stream it, you could potentially just have your gameplay live. We just have the camera on us. You stream yours. I'll just play my handheld or whatever, and we'll just Wi-Fi it in, so you wouldn't have to worry about capturing both games because it would show on there. Yeah, and then everyone else just come on. Like I think that'd be quite cool.
Oh wow, yeah, that's an amazing idea. Everyone's telling me to sell my PS5, apart from Raptor. It says never sell old consoles. As you can see behind me, that is how I've lived my life. But sadly, there's actually no room on here for a PS5 either because it's too big. I did try to put it in the shelves.
Where is it? Jack Lenore says, sell PS5, go PC Master Race. Yes, that's correct. And Switch Master Race, that's it. PC and Switch. That's going to be my combo. PC, Switch 2 and PC
an ally.
Yeah, PC. But that's lumped into PC gaming.
Yeah, okay. Sell it. When Stellar Blade comes to PC next month, there'll be no good exclusives.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I'm getting that on PC day one.
There's Ghost of Tsushima already on PC, isn't it?
Yeah. You're thinking of Ghost of Yeti.
Yeah, that's not out yet though, is it?
No.
I've not played Shishima yet, so I've got no reason to want to play Yeti.
Oh yeah, I gave you that as well. You can just sell your PlayStation before you even play it, and Stellar Blade.
You gave them to me, and I'm not even going to play them.
No, you're just going to get rid of them.
I'm going to put them on a shelf.
It's fine.
Speedrunning Mario 3. These are all great ideas. Game for Mario Kart Discord, Lee says, so he's up for it. And Dan, RTS, I didn't pre-order the Switch 2 and might be regretting this a smudge.
Ooh.
As an RTS player, Dan, as well, because you're into your strategy games, have you played the new Civ?
Because that's on Switch.
That's on Switch.
With mouse mode.
Yeah. Ace John, I sold my PS5. It did hurt because of the digital games.
See, that's the downside right there of digital games, yeah.
Did you just say Yeti?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Ghosts of Yeti.
I call Ghosts of Tsushima Ghosts of Satsuma, and everyone in the comments always, they don't get that that's just what it is. Because I have a problem where my brain sometimes goes faster than my mouth. So if it's not easy to say, I'll just mess it up.
Just make the word up.
So I changed the word for something that I know in that second is going to be easier to say. So it's Ghosts of Satsuma. And people are like, did he just say Satsuma? I'm like, yes, I did. So yeah, Ghosts of Yeti instead of
sell it. Grant saying sell it. Eric Williams, the Nintendo Switch 2 console games I'm looking forward to buying. Perky little things.
What's that? Is that a hentai game we've not heard of?
Is that a farming game?
I don't know.
MLB The Show.
MLB The Show. Oh,
wow. Haven't played the new Civ. Adults be busy.
Yeah.
But I will. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, life gets in the way. We were talking about that this morning, actually, about the Oblivion remaster specifically.
Yeah.
And why I probably won't complete it. Because there's too many other games I need to play. And
yeah.
The Oblivion remaster, if I had an endless amount of time, I would 100% be living in that game.
Yes.
Because it's amazing.
Yeah, I'd play it.
I'm already thinking ahead to all the things I know that are going to happen.
I'm looking
at to do.
The 400,000 games that are half finished in my backlog. The 12 games I'm spinning on plates that are crashing and burning beside me. And then I've got Oblivion that I've already spent hundreds of hours. I'm like, I can't do that as well.
Yeah, totally. I never thought my whole worldview on gaming would change until Nintendo started to push digital. See, I'm so glad someone's saying this, Shin X Shinra. I can't believe I'm actually considering going full PC and handheld PC Steam Deck.
Wow.
I
That's
think
difficult because that's also
all digital.
you know. But I understand what you're saying because that will potentially live on forever. Whereas on PC, if they just on Nintendo, they could change it. But they've said now that they want this unified account thing. So in theory, all your games are going to be tied and move along with you now, kind of like what happens on PC.
Neil asks a really pertinent question.
Yeah.
I can answer it first of all, and then I know Andy won't be able to. Name how often you actually finish a game. What was the last one? For me, the last game I actually played to completion was Indiana Jones.
Wow. Cool.
Andy's not going to be able to answer it. You completed some... Oh, I know what it is.
I've completed a few.
I know what it is. I know what the last one is.
What was it?
Spider-Man.
Miles
Morales.
I completed that. Final Fantasy Remake. What's the stop motion?
Oh, Harold Halibut.
Eric Harold Halibut. Yes. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the prequel. That's his
It's about his brother.
Yeah. Eric Harold Halibut. It's how often do you actually finish a game is really difficult because I'm always trying different things. I also obviously have a wife that plays different stuff, and always is it that I'm well into a game and I'm like smashing it. I'll get like halfway through and then she's like fed up of me playing it. So she's like, what can we play together? And then we go off on some multiplayer binge that takes random turns and takes weeks. And then like live streaming, like I've mentioned this randomly in the past, but I used to be a huge MMO player, which you can't complete. So, you know, I've spent like thousands of hours in games that I can't say I've completed, you know, but anyway, then we'll jump off that weird like multiplayer train and then I'll go find another game like, oh, this new game just come out on Game Pass, and then I'll start that, and then that game I got halfway through just starts getting buried. Yeah, it's really difficult. So how often do I finish a game is really hard to actually say. I'm
terrible for finishing games, Captain Chat says. It doesn't happen very often. I think, especially if you've got Game Pass now, I think we're all criminal.
And also being a PC gamer on Steam, you just buy games.
It's
like,
so cheap.
They go down to like, you know, a couple of quid and you're just like, yep. So yeah, it's difficult.
Andrew, I just want to get to some of your questions before we finish up. Andrew says, if I get a next-gen Ally 2, will getting a regular dock, not an eGPU, allow me to have a good gaming experience on my 4K TV? That's the only reason I'm keeping my PS5, because I don't have a good TV option.
Yeah.
And obviously, he doesn't want to build an eGPU.
I mean, it really depends when they release the next Ally 2. If they wait, like I want them to, for next year, when the Z3 Extreme chips will be out or comparable, then hopefully we'll have like hardware encoding on them. So it will be actual machine learning. So we'll get a really good upscaling offer, like what we've seen with FSR 4. So we'll exactly that. We should see FSR 4 in handheld form in like Z3 Extremes with RDNA 4.
Yes, and that's the important thing. If the Ally 2 is Z3 Extreme, it's got RDNA 4, I think then you probably have a good...
But I still don't think you'll be looking
4K.
at 4K. No, you'll be upscaling up to like potentially 1440p, you know, at a decent sort of playable base rate.
4K is difficult for
4K
PC.
is so hard for anything.
Yeah.
That's why even on like the RTX 5090 can't even play like Cyberpunk fully maxed out without fake frames. Let's turn frame gen off. It's not real. You know, if you just like raw go through it, it can't even hit like 4K 60. No. You know, you've got to use upscaling. You've got to use frame gen to be able to push it.
I think a lot of these numbers we've been missold on, or like from what PlayStation and Xbox have been saying when they say like, oh, well, PlayStation for 8K on the box for a while.
Yeah, right.
It never
what were they smoking?
I don't know how they were allowed to. How were they allowed to put that on the box?
That's
beyond
misrepresentation.
And now even saying 4K, I'm like, yeah,
kinda, yeah.
It's kind of 4K.
Yeah.
It's not native 4K. It's definitely not outputting, and it's not consistent either.
Yeah.
We're all getting some kind of upscaled and stretched version of like 1080 or 1440, just to hit the frame rates that are acceptable.
Yeah.
To get close to 60 FPS on most stuff.
Yeah, I personally would rather play at lower resolution with higher frame rate.
I think
you know,
I think if you like blindfold tested people, as in like obviously not that blindfold because they couldn't see. If you didn't tell people what they were playing, but 2 monitors in front of them, and one was 1080 60, and one was 4K 30.
Yeah. You'd probably gravitate to wanting to play the 1080, I would say.
Yeah,
like
100%.
because of the fluidity.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big test for my wife that just generally doesn't care if a game's a bit buggy.
Yeah.
Like, whereas I wouldn't play some of the stuff she plays, but she will know if it's real choppy, you know. For me, 1440p is a sweet spot. Like, then that, even on a 4K screen, and I've got a 77-inch OLED, 1440p looks fine on that.
Yeah.
And I'll take that massive boost in frame rate for that hit, you know.
Is there any questions you've seen that you want to get to? There's
wow.
loads that have come in really quickly recently.
Boom, 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 boom.
If we can update our games locally with other nearby switches, why not implement that for downloading game data for keycards? Game preservation, fear, problem solved. The thing I'll say, ZMAX, about game preservation and the fear of it, I totally understand. As you can see behind, massive game collector, physical game collector, and I love the idea of it. But since, like, at least the PS4 era, but definitely this generation, the idea of game preservation's just disappeared. It doesn't. The game companies don't care, and PlayStation and Xbox just aren't interested, to the point of every game you buy, I'd say 90% of the games you buy aren't fully on that disc that you're buying them on. You'll see it every single time you buy. Well, I say Call of Duty is like 120 gig. Well, it's never fitting on a DVD for one.
No.
It's just not happening.
No.
Or Blu-ray. It's just not happening. Almost all games you're buying and downloading, all, or at least part of the game from a server. They switch that off, it's done. There's a lot of games, especially on PlayStation, you can't play without an internet connection.
Yeah.
Or they'll scale it. I think the new Gran Turismo is a really good example of this. If you don't have an active internet connection, you could only play one game mode. It locks out everything else.
Wow.
Even if you're playing single player. So game preservation is a beautiful thought, but the game companies gave up on it without telling anyone a long time ago.
Like 10 years ago.
And I think they've maybe happily gone along with this disc thing because maybe it makes them a bit more money because they can sell the discs to the manufacturers, like, you know, like Nintendo do with carts. It's sad, but it's just where it's at. PC gaming found a solution to this well over 15 years ago now. And you look at how well Steam has preserved games for everyone in a digital fashion.
Yeah.
I think it's...
linked to your account for sure. And stuff like GOG, where they are actually properly preserved because it's DRM free.
Yeah.
Like, love that.
I think Nintendo are moving towards that. Out of all of them, Nintendo are doing the best job of moving towards how to preserve things for your account in a digital world, and how you can use digital games and share them amongst family groups or share with friends.
Yeah, Nintendo are trying to get it on board now. Like, I feel like, you know, like they're actually rising up with the times, whereas before it was linked to your account, but you change to the next system, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, whereas now I think they're actually going forward. Digital is the future. Like, I wouldn't surprise me if next gen there's no disk drive on anything. So they've gonna have to get these accounts right and take a leaf out of Steam's book.
Yeah.
So that your account follows you forever now, no matter what the system is.
And
that
save
everything's
files.
There. Yeah.
I mean, that's really important. But it does also mean that you can then pick up multiple bits of hardware, and it doesn't matter which one you pick up, you then just log into your account. Your games are there, you can download them, and your save files are there. It's very easy. It's clearly very easy to implement because Valve have been doing it for a long time. It's sad that we have to give up physical. And I'll definitely also acknowledge, there is something very special about going to a store and picking up a game. It's kind of nostalgic. It's a beautiful experience. Coming home with this bit of treasure is really exciting, wasn't it?
I loved when, I had a chauffeur, which was my mum. And I'd get driven down to the shop and I managed to buy my one game for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And the drive home where I was reading the back, looking at the 4 like really bad screenshots.
Yeah, getting
and
excited.
Then
Flicking for a manual.
Yeah. Color manual sometimes if you're lucky. Like that would just like really set the scene.
Yeah.
And then, then you go home and play the game. Someone, I'm sorry where it was. Oh, was it Ace Bird John said, I have to finish a backlog game before buying a new one. Brilliant rule.
That's a lovely rule.
I'm too flippant and crazy for that.
If I didn't have Game Pass, I would do that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So Pazman said that he bought a Switch 2 at Curry's for £9,999 and then got a discount to bring it down to the correct price. That's an amazing discount. Well done. Yeah, you stopped Curry's scalping you. That's
so you
really
got like
9,500 off.
500.
That's great. Yeah. That's a good discount.
It's really good. Yeah. Really good.
What else is going on here?
Yeah.
Do you not think that Ally 2 is the Asus, the handheld Asus are making with Microsoft? No, I don't. No, we don't think that's the Ally 2. We might be wrong, but we really don't think so. We think Ally 2 is going to be next year.
Yeah, whatever the thing is they're making with Microsoft will be released this year, probably towards the end of the year. Maybe the end of the summer at the earliest.
I was going to say, I think we're going to hear about it in the next few months.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be like later in the year that releases.
And this won't be the Ally 2. It is clearly an ROG product because ROG did the teaser and Microsoft and Xbox responded to that. This will be the testing ground for Windows Gaming OS or Xbox OS as we were calling it.
Yeah.
So that will happen. That will be happening this year. It won't be the Ally 2, but it will be a slight improvement on. It will definitely be an upgrade to the Z1 Ally,
but we don't
which was what they were teasing in the teaser.
But we don't think it's going to be as performant as the Ally X.
Yeah,
so it's going to sit somewhere between the Ally White one and the Ally X. That's what we think. We might be wrong.
Darren Ney says PS5 physical games are fully in the disc chaps. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but they're not.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
And if you want to question it, go and get Black Ops 6 and uninstall it and then reinstall it and see what happens.
Yeah,
download.
I had several PlayStation 5 games where I stuck the disc in and I had to just download the game.
Yeah.
Would have been easier for me to just buy digital.
Yeah, and I know Gran Turismo, because from experience as well, that's a game that you have to download all the content for, and without an internet connection, even after you've installed it, it won't play properly, which is sad. I wish it was all on disc, but games are so big now it can't be. And there is some convenience that comes with digital. Someone was talking about digital paralysis though, which is absolutely a real thing.
Yeah.
I have too many games. Digital causes analysis paralysis for real.
It does, yeah. That's my issue with too many games as well, and that's why I liked whoever it was a minute ago that said about completing a game before buying a new one. That really stops that. Whereas for me, I've got so many games. I'm just like if I'm not trying to play a backlog game and there's not something brand new out and I just want to choose a game, it's almost impossible. I like Finma said, no physical games, nothing to put on your shelf is the only downside with PC.
Yeah.
Unless you're old like me and I've still got loads of I've got PC boxes.
Old like me, you've got PS2 games behind you, fine.
I've got literally the ones I bought like back in the day that were all on my shelf.
Right. Steve Mann is a lovely question. It's a great way to get here. If they put the chip, and he means the NVIDIA chip, from the Switch 2 in a Windows device, would it be double, do you think, in price? So would it double the price? We were talking about this in the podcast, that if NVIDIA worked on more handheld hardware, it would smash out the park what exists.
Oh, yeah.
If they went for like a high-performance device, like with Asus or someone, or Lenovo, whatever.
They could absolutely wipe the floor with AMD's APUs.
Because of DLSS, that's the big part of it. But just NVIDIA in general.
They won't.
They won't. It's a shame that they won't.
It's not their market. They're enterprise people, ultimately.
Yeah, they make money by selling like server farms to Facebook. That's NVIDIA's business. And their graphics cards and their like graphics...
It's all secondary.
Yeah, secondary. I'd say Nintendo are probably a really big customer for them because Nintendo shift units. I mean, the Switch one was NVIDIA powered, wasn't it? In Integra, whatever it was called. And that obviously shifted around 150 million units so far. So that's numbers that's important.
Yeah.
Would it double the price? If they went for a bleeding edge thing, yes. Just look at the price of AMD's Z1 Extreme in the Ally X is £800. So yeah, it would double the price if you went for like even like a similar performing NVIDIA chip.
Yeah, I'd love to see something come from NVIDIA on a more performant front. Like if Xbox teamed up with, NVIDIA to make their like actual Xbox handheld or something, like that would be so cool. I think, what they've done with Switch 2, you've got to remember, is still, they would have been working on it for a while now.
Yeah.
So it's still already an outdated chip, just like the original was for the Switch 1. But look at the performance gains we've got. Yeah. So imagine if someone came along and actually put more money behind it. And yes, okay, it would be more expensive, but let's say Asus or Xbox or someone like that. I think you could have some serious, powerful handheld, like with an NVIDIA chip in it.
It'd be crazy. When you went to the Switch 2 event thing, what did the Switch 2 UI look like? And did it have themes and UI and music? Do you know what?
Couldn't see.
It's so gutted with this. I think Alistair Rickman did confirm that as well. Like the Switch 2 event, the units were locked down. You couldn't even back out to go into settings or
couldn't
anything.
Do anything. I couldn't even hold.
Yeah,
you couldn't even hold the home button to change the brightness or anything.
So there's some interesting things there.
It's like a demo.
Yeah, the units we were using weren't retail units. There was only one retail unit there,
which was off.
That was the one that was powered off. I think they took the battery out of it as well, so you couldn't turn it on. There were 2 security guards next to it as well.
Oh yeah, they were just breathing down on
so
it.
There was one unit right at the end of the hall that wasn't bolted down. That was a retail unit that you could pick up, take the Joy-Cons off, actually feel it, look at the game card holders and stuff. That was the only one that was free to move around. All of the ones in TV mode, they were all like locked into these like boxes with air vents. The home buttons were switched off on all of the controllers, and then handheld the same. You couldn't back out. You couldn't do anything. So you couldn't see the UI, couldn't see if they'd done anything. Themes, they would have said if they'd done themes, because it's been such a bugbear for ages.
Yeah, I don't know, because they've not shown anything about the UI or the eShop. I feel like that's just going to be like surprise when it launches on.
It's going to be the same as the Switch 1.
Yeah, probably. I really hope they do some themes. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't, but I want them to.
Yeah.
The eShop's got to be different because don't even get me started. We've been complaining it for this for like 8 years since the Switch launched. The eShop sucked. So Switch 2's eShop's got to be better. It is weird they haven't shown us anything.
I think without showing us anything means that they haven't done anything.
No, I think they definitely have. Like that eShop is different, 100%. Yeah,
okay.
they are so prominent. This was the same thing with the event. They were so adamant on showing you it docked that they want you to say, look at this home console now. Look how good the graphics are because we're DLSS in it. Look at mouse mode. Look at this. They were like cherry picking what they want to show you, but not really. Like they're like, oh yeah, look, there it is handheld, but you know what it's like handheld. Do you know what I mean? Like they were trying to show like the new stuff. And I think they've just gone, well, no one really cares about the eShop anyway. Like that's new, but we're just not going to show it to you.
Yeah.
They're like, they really wanted to show you the stuff they wanted you to see.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to be different.
I think you're absolutely right about them. Everything about this launch and about the events and all the things we've seen are the Switch. The first Nintendo Switch was, this is a handheld console that you can play on your TV.
Yeah.
The Switch 2 is the other way around. This is a home console that you can play handheld.
Yeah, that's how they were like showing it. Yeah,
that's how that's how I think they want us all to think about it. And
yeah.
I'll be honest, I think that's how I'm going to use it personally. And I think it's how it will be best.
Yeah, well,
it's a home console that you can play handheld.
I think it's even split now. I really do. You know, I think it's an even split.
We could carry on talking all day, I know, but I think, alas, we may have come to near the end of the journey. Mainly because I'm really thirsty.
Yes.
It's been about an hour and a half.
Yes.
You know, I'm tired now.
I'm tired.
It's time for bed.
I've got to drive home.
3:30 in the afternoon. It's time for bed.
It is. Yeah.
Were the TVs at the event OLED?
No,
That'd be funny because in the Switch,
so.
no, they weren't.
I don't think they were.
They were very good TVs, but they weren't. They weren't OLEDs. Please do carry on, join in the comments. Make sure you like this live stream before you go, because I'm going to leave it up as a video, so I want other people to see it that might not have joined in, although it's been a bit erratic and all over the place.
It's cool.
It's been lovely hanging out with you all. It's always really nice when we get to do these.
Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
we will try and do them every week.
Like once a year.
We're really good at scheduling.
Once every 6 months. Just keep an eye out.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us. More ideas in the comments for the video on how we should celebrate 100k. I think a Mario Kart marathon sounds like a hilarious way of doing it.
Yeah, wait until Switch 2 drops.
Yeah.
Just boom, straight away.
That'd be a really nice thing to do. So if you want to join in with that or watch it, then you know what to do.
Yes.
If you're not subscribed already, do please and consider joining channel memberships because it really does help us out. That 99p goes a long way towards Andy's massive Switch 2 collection that he's going to have.
Digitally.
Those Pro controllers don't pay for themselves.
Yeah.
All right, you lovely people in chat, you lovely people watching afterwards. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, and we'll see you next time, I guess.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I've got to press a button.
Oh, no.